Okay, is there really a psychological hack to make her know, like, and trust you more? Well, in fact, yes, there is. This advanced technique can work on anyone. Now, before you start Mr. Burns finger fluttering, only use this technique for win-win situations. If you have nefarious intentions, it will come off as disingenuous and untrustworthy, which is the opposite of what you want anyway. So, whether you want a deeper connection with a woman, or to get along better with your family, or better rapport with your boss, or more sales with your customers, you'll appreciate the like me, psych hack. So this information is another gem provided by John, a former approach coach who now works as a corporate consultant and wishes to remain anonymous. If you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Jorgensen. I help good men like you decode modern women so you can find, attract, and keep your keeper, or simply have better relationships with women. Welcome to Just the Tip. Okay, so what makes a great relationship? In short, communication. The first rule of communication is listen to learn. If you want to skip straight to the hack, then go to this timestamp, but you will be missing out on some critical information. Are you still here? I applaud you for your keen interest in understanding others. The more you can learn and understand about women, or anyone really, the easier it is to make her know, like, and trust you more. However, there is more to communication than speaking and listening. In fact, most of what we communicate comes from our body language, tone of voice, and even our energy. But our words also matter. So in a previous video, 10 body language secrets to know if she actually is attracted to you, we looked at how to enhance communication and connection with mirroring. And I will link that video at the end of this one. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about talking, the actual words we use. And there's an immense need for understanding others as well as for feeling understood by them. I'm sure you can agree with that. So if you speak a different language than I do, we're going to have a difficult time understanding each other. I can listen all day long, but if the words and sounds coming out of your mouth don't resonate with my ears, we could have a serious breakdown in communication. In business, effective communication is much the same. If we don't understand our boss's values and communication preferences, we may constantly disappoint him or her. And if we don't understand our customers' values and communication preferences, then the features and benefits of whatever we're selling, whether it's a product, service, or idea, won't mean a thing to her. That's why it's important to speak to someone so they unquestionably know that they are being heard, validated, and understood, just like you want to be heard, validated, and understood, right? Right. So by understanding, we can hear what they're saying and see it from their perspective. We can walk in their shoes and grasp how life is for them. We can genuinely connect on a deeper level. Now, only then can we present our product, service, or idea as the life-changing solution they want it to be. And if you're looking for love, that product, service, or idea is you. So some of you know I used to be a land pimp in a previous career. That's right, I was a realtor. And everyone in sales knows the adage, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So, said another way, you can't sell what Jane Jones buys until you can see through Jane Jones' eyes. If you're in the market for love, Jane Jones is your ideal mate. And Jane responds positively to a man who understands her. The more empathy you display, the more she automatically trusts you. Now, this is true for all relationships, whether they're business or familial or friendship or romantic. When it comes to romance and a woman trusts you, does she feel more or less safe with you? Correct, more. And what is a woman's primary need? Right again, to feel safe, physically and emotionally. In fact, everyone needs to feel safe in order to let their guard down. Now, you may be saying, duh, Anna, of course we want relationships with people we know, like, and trust. Like, Avi. Well, here's a sneaky little secret. We like and trust people who are most similar to ourselves. In romantic relationships, you'll have deeper connections if you understand your lover's values and their sensory love language. Details momentarily. Okay, so this makes sense. People who are like us probably have similar beliefs and values. So we automatically, even if subconsciously, believe we can count on them to make the same choices we would make, and for them to understand and accept and support the choices we would naturally make. So our brains are always trying to protect us from danger and pain. And it tells us that people who are like us are less risky to have relationships with. Even if that's not always true, what feels familiar also feels comfortable. The key to connection is finding ways to make our mental map match others while still being authentic. Pretending to be someone else benefits no one anyway. So how do you come in Tokyo to tweak your mental map and match hers? Just the tip, it's done through map matching communication. Now, don't worry, this is not as complex as it seems. Let me explain. So the words we use tend to fall within the 5 senses map to express ideas, dreams, and experiences. Now, here's a cheat code for understanding how people experience the world through their main 5 senses. 1, visual, seeing pictures, images, a hot girl in a red dress. Auditory, hearing, like your playlist or her infectious laughter. Kinesthetic, touch. And physical sensations, think hugs or your pants suddenly getting tighter when hot girl in red dress smiles at you. Olfactory, smell, what's that intoxicating perfume she's wearing. Gustatory, taste, like the first sip of your favorite brewski or the first taste of her cherry chapstick. The 5 senses map is just a fancy way of figuring out how someone processes life through their senses. Simply think of your senses and pay attention to her words. Examples coming up. So, some of you are thinking, feeling, or saying, this is way too much work, Anna. Why should I even care? Well, you will get more of what you want from anyone, not just women, if you know their primary sensory mode and use their words. Why? Because people like and trust people who are like them, like me, like me. So don't get frustrated or beat yourself up if this doesn't come naturally to you. We're not born knowing this, and they don't teach it in school, unfortunately. However, like any new skill, if you practice paying attention to how people around you express themselves, you'll start to notice we all tend to express ourselves primarily with words in 1 or 2 of the primary senses. Now, this may sound like a word salad to you, but stick with me if just for funskies. Now, you don't have to do anything different if you don't want to. However, if you are into pro gaming life or any of your relationships, knowing which sense someone uses allows you to tailor your communication with them. So this is advanced and even pro level people reading, but your life can become easier when you get the hang of it. And if you like gaming, make it a game. Question: do you know what your primary sense is? If you do, share it in the comments. Okay, most people, about 60 to 65%, are visual communicators. They think in terms of visual constructs, pictures, colors. Visual language helps them connect more deeply. So if someone is a visual communicator, they respond best when you say things like, "You light up the room," or "I can picture us together," "Our future looks bright." Just see what I mean? Cheesy coach. Okay, so other people, about 20 to 25%, are auditory communicators. They think out loud. Sound is important to them. They need to hear you and they need you to hear them. Auditory language helps them connect more deeply. If someone is an auditory communicator, they respond best when you say things like, "That sounds like a great plan. I like the sound of that. Ah, your voice makes me calm." Do you hear what I'm saying? A small percentage of the population, about 15 to 20%, are more kinesthetic communicators. These folks need to feel you. Literally, they are huggers. They touch. Feeling language helps them communicate and connect more deeply. If someone is a kinesthetic communicator, they respond best when you say things like, "You've got such a warm vibe," or "You've got such a warm personality," or "I feel really connected to you," or "This relationship feels right." Does this one feel like you? And a tiny percentage of the population, about 1 to 3, are sniffers and tasters, olfactory and gustatory. If someone is an olfactory communicator, they respond best when you say things like, "Something about this situation smells off," or "This place has a fresh vibe," or "Your perfume drives me wild." Does this one pass the sniff test for you? And if someone is a gustatory communicator, they respond best when you say things like, "I need to digest what you just said," or "You're the sweetest part of my day," or "Let's spice things up." So, are you tasting what I'm cooking up here with a lot of cheese? I believe there are also a few rare individuals whose primary sensory mode is actually energy and intuition. And they respond best when you say things like, you have such a positive energy, or you have a great vibe about you, or our connection feels so tangible. Most of us have a primary and secondary mode of communication style in the sensory mode. If you're single or prefer to stay single, start paying attention to your boss's preferred sensory language, or your customers or your clients. If you gear your communication to their primary sensory mode, you may get promoted faster or make more sales with people who need your product or service or idea. This video has a lot of new information, I know, and it may feel a bit overwhelming. Just remember, learning to communicate even a tiny bit in someone's preferred sensory language can allow deeper connections. But if you don't, it's not impossible to develop a connection. It's simply an extra tool to have in your relationships toolbox. So, big thank you to John for the inspiration for this video. To learn how to do the mirroring technique effectively without coming across as creepy or cheesy, watch a Body Language Secrets to know if she actually is attracted to you, which will be coming up next. Reminder to use these psych hacks to make her know, like, and trust you more responsibly. Now, get out there to listen and learn. Sending you lots of love. God bless.